Hi guys, AstroCass back with an astrology update. This video we're going to talk about the much anticipated Mars Uranus conjunction coming up. So, if you haven't met me already, I'm Cassie. I am an astrologer and I love things that are spiritual and astrology based. So if those things interest you, you've come to the right place. And like always, I would really appreciate it if you give me a like. And if you subscribe so you don't miss anything on my channel, hit the bell icon. Also, all of my information is below if you want to book a reading with me. If you want to know any of my details, they're all linked below. With that all being said, let's talk about Mars and Uranus. So this conjunction has been a much anticipated aspect for 2024, especially amongst the spiritual community and astrologers. It is something that we haven't been 100% sure how it was going to play out, but the closer we're getting towards the elections, especially for the US, I feel strongly that this is going to be linked to Trump and a big event with Trump. But it's not just the US that's having elections. There's a lot going on in the UK as well. And I feel like there's just some big changes happening with the leaders of our world. And I feel like this aspect of Mars and Uranus being in a conjunction in Taurus is showing that energy of these big changes. And it's just showing how this is all playing out on a world stage for us. Obviously, this will be different depending on your natal chart. So if you want a reading, as I said, all my information is below, just reach out. But your individual natal chart will be completely different to what's going to happen globally because it's going to activate your chart a lot differently depending on the aspects that it makes. So don't be nervous or a bit afraid of anything that we discuss here because your chart will be very unique for you and very different. It'll play out completely differently. So let's start and keep this very simple. A conjunction is when two planets merge their energies together, they become one. They are conjunct, they're merging together. This Uranus and Mars conjunction is happening at 26 degrees in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, so we already know that this is going to involve the earth and earthly possessions. Taurus usually rules over things like agriculture, farming, flowers, food, water, all those sorts of things. It rules over money and banks and just like parts of the economy and retail, supermarkets, all of that falls under that Taurus type energy. Now, when we're looking at Uranus, Uranus is shocks. It's sudden changes, it's surprises, unexpected events happening. It's also like lightning bolts. It's the higher mind, so it's very scientific, very smart. It is very inventive. Okay. And it also deals with things around friendships and humanity. And I have to be really careful. I'm going to spell these things out or kind of give you the vibe of it, but it can also be linked to RIOTS. Think of people in the streets marching together as one. Get what I mean? Read between the lines. I hope you're understanding. I just really don't want any of this to be flagged because I really want people to get the whole story and I don't want to say anything that could get my stuff not seen. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. So you've got that energy, that rebellious energy, right? Rebellious energy. People being shocking and surprising. Okay? People marching on the streets. Okay? Now, you've also got Mars there. Now, Mars is a planet of conflict, aggression, passion, motivation, action, drive. It's what you're fighting for and fighting with. It is that bravery in us. It is, it's being bold, it's being reckless, it's being impatient. Okay, that's all linked to that kind of Mars type energy. But Mars is also in full when it's in Taurus, so it's not working as well as it could be because remember this is an earth sign and it's fixed earth, so it's very steady and stable and reliable and it's slower. Mars doesn't like slow. Mars likes to be like a bullet, fast. Mars does rule over weapons as well. Keep that in mind. So when you've got these two planets coming together, in a conjunction, merging in Taurus, that very earthy sign. Wow, are we going to have some shocking things happening? Again, a visual for this is like a match. Lighting a match and throwing that match, that fuse, into a bunch of fireworks and watching the display. It's going to be surprising. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be crazy and intense. And there's going to be lights and sparkly and bits of electricity flying everywhere. But it is also very beautiful, and there is lots of positive and lots of negative to come from these conjunctions, depending on other things that are happening at the same time and other planetary aspects. But overall, you get in the vibe of that energy, how exciting it is, because that Uranus energy is exciting, it's exhilarating, it's chaotic. And Mars is very bold, it's very brave, it's very competitive. And it's all about, taking action. So it's very, very exciting, but very chaotic. So what I feel like this is going to be on a global, I guess, like how it's going to play out globally is we can probably expect some huge things happening in the US, the UK, and in France, because France actually has this happening on top of their natal Mars. It's in a conjunction, not like very, very tight conjunction, but it is in a conjunction with France's, so Paris, France, their natal Mars in Taurus. So keep that in mind. This conjunction that's happening in Taurus is impacting their Mars. So I think their Mars is actually in Gemini, but because of the conjunction, I think it still makes that conjunction. But France, watch what happens there. I feel like there's going to be people on the streets that are going to be very unhappy. I also feel like in the US, there's going to be people on the streets that are very unhappy, and it's going to be linked to the elections. Keep an eye on Trump. This is happening on Trump's midheaven. Something big is going to happen with him. I hate to say it, and I know I've said it a few times, but it's giving JFK vibes. It's giving something big. It's going to be shocking and going to cause some unrest with people. Those are the major things I think are going to play out globally. But we've got a few other things happening. You've also got Venus and Mercury in Leo. And that could link in the royals or celebrities somehow to this big story. You've also got the sun that is in Cancer, bringing a big focus to home, family, lands, and ancestry. But the other big kicker to this is that if you look at the moon that's in Scorpio when this is happening around 20 degrees, it's pretty much opposite. Not a very tight opposition, but it's about a 5 to 6 degree orb. That's when it's involving the moon, that is still a pretty important opposition. Opposition is a tug of war energy, where you're either focusing too much on the moon in Scorpio and too much on your emotions and how you're feeling, and not enough on that Mars and Uranus energy, or you're focusing too much on that Mars and Uranus energy of being like chaotic and taking action, and not enough on your emotions and how you're feeling. It's a tug of war. You can't be in both those energies. You have to pick one, and that's what's so frustrating about an opposition. You got to try and merge them, bring them together, but it's very difficult. But the moon is a bit uncomfortable in Scorpio, and what I will say as well is that it is very deep, intense emotion, Scorpio, right? It is very, very deep emotions, and it can be linked to trauma. It's very psychological. It can be linked to crimes and, as I said, trauma, Phoenix rising from the ashes type energy. It's all about DEATH and rebirth. It's also linked to SEX and scandals and finding out the truth. It's like deep bonds as well, other people's money. It's about like investments, big banks. It's about people that are really wealthy. It deals with big amounts of wealth and inheritance and all those sorts of things. But it will reveal people's secrets, those dirty little secrets they've got hidden in their closet. That's all that Scorpio energy. It's the hidden side of things, the taboo side of things. Now, when we've got the moon there, which rules over our emotions and our security and how we feel, being in Scorpio, this shows that there's some very intense emotions that are very traumatic, and that can be really challenging, and it's opposite this fireworks show. So knowing that the moon can be the moon is in Scorpio and it can be about DEATH, and the fact that it's opposite this shocking, surprising event that's happening in Taurus, to me, this is showing possibly like something or someone passing that makes the people quite frustrated and upset, some kind of scandal. I don't know. That's just, there's some big shock announcement either to do with females or a big shock announcement with someone passing. That's kind of how I see this energy, because the moon can also be linked to females and the feminine energy. So it can be a shocking surprise female leader coming into power, or it can be a shocking exit of someone, a passing of somebody that's quite well known, or at least a very serious attempt to take somebody out. Very serious attempt. Possibly, if it's not successful, it can be a very, very big attempt. It's very public. Again, JFK vibes. Just trying to think if there's anything else that kind of stood out to me about this. I mean, there's a lot happening, so much happening. The fact that Pluto and Venus are in a bit of an opposition as well. Like Pluto is that same type of Scorpio energy, and Venus is all about our love and romance and partnerships and money. Like that looks really difficult as well at the same time. So we've got like a lot of oppositions and conjunctions happening, like a lot of energy that's quite challenging. You've also got that moon that's square Mercury. So there's a problem with the emotions and communication at this time as well. At all, like to me, yeah, I'd be keeping an eye on Trump, France, the US, because they'll be in the news a lot when this happens. But again, individually in your chart, this could be very different depending on where it's happening, what house, and what planets it's aspecting. So please, 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 please keep all that in mind, because I'm not talking about you and your chart. I'm just talking about on a global event and a global axis, what to look out for based on the astrology, just interpreting it. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. If you've got any theories on what you think could be happening globally or what you kind of think's playing out at this time, please drop your comments below, because I love listening to your stories, and I know a lot of people are really interested in astrology and might see things differently to me or see things that I haven't spoken about, and I really love hearing everybody's point of view. Overall, I'm kind of excited for this energy because in my chart, it's actually making some nice aspects to my midheaven, and I think that's really amazing. So I'm looking forward to some really big positive changes coming around money, because it's my second house. Taurus is my second house, and my Capricorn 10th house of career and reputation, where my MC is. I have my MC at 25 degrees. So it's very, very close to this 26-degree conjunction that's happening. It's going to send a nice little trine up there, which is harmony between those planets. So I'm definitely looking forward to that energy for me. I want to know what placements you guys have that are going to be impacted by this. Please tell me, comment below, and let's have a chat about them. But for now, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. And until I see you again, stay safe.